we're live. I'll just get it all sent out on Twitter and stuff like that. But if you're watching this back and you're seeing this from the start, hello everybody. We're going to do some admin. So join us on Albion Obsessed whilst I do some admin before we start getting in
the good stuff. This is all the good stuff. Just behind the scenes.
Oh, it's a beautiful day, Curtis. It's a beautiful day. It is a beautiful day. Right. Curtis, chat to the people.
Hello, people. Welcome to Albion Obsessed's live stream where we discuss all things Brighton & Hove Albion. But of course, we're going to be discussing the up-and-coming West Ham game and the past game versus Stoke. Can we do it on a cold night in Stoke, Joe? Can we?
We've already done it on a cold night. Oh! You were asking the question and confirming it. We did do it on a cold night.
Yes, we did do it. Yeah, after a lovely ball from Dunk to Matoma, straight through to Ferguson. His fifth goal now, right? Ferguson's fifth goal.
Fifth. Gosh. I will have to check that.
In all competitions,
I'm not sure. Probably. Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
So yeah, happy days. But hello everyone, welcome to Friday night with Curtis and Joe, and hopefully Adam soon. There he is. There's
Hello.
Adam. Hello, Adam. How are you, mate?
Hello.
From Seagulls Central.
Hello.
Joining us on a lovely Friday afternoon. Afternoon? Is it afternoon yet, or is it evening?
It's evening, Joseph.
I would say it's definitely evening. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I just never know when the cutoff is. Some people at 5 o'clock still say.
I would say the cutoff is when it's evening, Joe. So
I'd say 5 o'clock. Maybe when it starts to get dark. I feel like that's kind of like now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, we'll go with that. Top quality content as always on Albion Obsessed.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. See you later.
Yeah, that's it. As I say, we're joined by Adam today from Seagulls Central. I'm sure all of you go and follow that wonderful account. I've been following it for years.
Thank you,
and I love the content, mate. It's really, really good. If you're not following it, it's at Seagulls Central. Go and give it a follow. It's really good stuff.
Thank you so
Adam,
much.
it's your first time on Albion Obsessed. We have 3 questions to ask you.
Yeah.
We'll get the one that makes people think out the way first. Your first ever Albion game. Do you remember it?
I remember the game. I remember who it was against. I remember where I was sat. I remember who I was with, but I don't remember like when it was. I don't really remember what year it was. It was at Withdean, and it was against Leeds. My dad's a Leeds fan, and that was his kind of way to kind of introduce me. So I actually lived in the Withdean area when I was growing up. So it was literally at the bottom of my road, the stadium, and that was my first in. I think we just got a ticket to a game one day, and we went. And I didn't go again for quite a while after that, but that was my first game. It was a game against Leeds at Withdean. Don't really remember what year or anything else, to be quite honest. But yeah, fell in love with it from then.
Perfect. And you're repping this season's home shirt, Adam. We are massive football shirt advocates on Albion Obsessed.
Yeah.
So we want to ask you what your favorite ever Albion shirt is. It can be home, away, third, goalkeeper, whatever you want.
It's so hard. I mean, I'm going to list a few. I think it's one that everyone talks about, but the green and black one, man. I mean, that was just that's proper, that one. I just think it's so nice. And then the home kit from that year as well. I think for me, that's probably my favorite. Just because of like all the goals that I associate with it and the collar and just like I just thought it was really cool. I've got loads of like the vintage kits that were before my time, which some of them are so nice, but like from a personal perspective, I kind of really I think we had that one for like 2 seasons as well, which is like you don't really get so much these days, which is quite nice. But yeah, obviously Hyper Turk these days is really nice, like the black one from a few years ago. So yeah, there's loads, but if I had to go for it, it would probably be the home kit from what would it have been, like 12, 13?
It was 2011 to 2013.
13, yeah.
But yeah, for me, like they are like iconic duo of home and away
aren't they?
shirt. When you think about that first year at the Amex and the players that wore it, like Will Buckley, Craig
Yeah.
McHale-Smith, David Lopez, Andrea, I could sit here and list all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic choice.
That seems to be everybody's answer, that
Yeah.
red and black one, but it's just
green and
the
black.
nicest. Green and black, sorry, not the red. The red and black's nice.
The red
but
and black
green,
is beautiful.
yeah, the green and black, everyone loves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
quality.
Hopefully they can do like some kind of remake of that.
Yeah.
But I always think remakes don't quite get there.
They'd have to
but
nail it.
They would. They really would.
But
And who is your favorite Albion player of all time?
I think if you'd asked me 6 months ago, it would have probably been Bruno. But maybe not anymore. I don't know all time. It's so hard. I think the player that I first and also it was a little bit later, but like I remember the first player I really, really, really liked, and it's going to sound so weird, was Gordon Greer. I honestly loved Gordon Greer so much. He was the first player I like wanted to be Gordon Greer, and I remember like playing at school and like being Gordon Greer and like looking at his boots and trying to get the same ones as him and all that kind of thing. And that was probably when I was like not even a kid, probably like 12 or 13, like probably a little bit too old to be doing that. But yeah, probably it's so hard. Like there's been so many legends, Cowdy, Bruno, like obviously Donkey these days. So many. Yeah, it's hard to say, but I feel like for sentimental reasons, I might actually go Gordon Greer.
Gordon Greer, the marvelous captain that led us to the League One title. I mean, it's hard to disagree with that, to be honest. It really is. But yeah, some fantastic answers there. And you say about pretending to be a player, mate. I still play every Sunday, and I'm up there being my best Glenn Murray.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not quite as clinical, I must say, but
yeah.
We'll give it that.
Yeah.
So lots has happened in the world of Brighton and Albion. One little bit of news that I wanted to start with, which I think is absolutely fantastic, is 18-year-old Facundo Buonanotte, easy for you to say, has got his first call up to the Argentinian national squad, senior squad. So he's going to be playing alongside Alexis McAllister, of course, Lionel Messi, all the World Cup winners. So all of his heroes that he's just watched as a Argentinian kid win his country the World Cup, he's now going to be training alongside them. Curtis, how much of a boost is that going to be for a guy that's just come into the Premier League? Probably should have scored his first Premier League goal against Fulham. And to now be called up to your national squad, senior squad, it's just brilliant.
I mean, I think it's hugely deserved. He's seemingly a very, very good young player, and I feel like it will do him oodles of good to be surrounded by all this experience. So I look forward to seeing how he does with that squad. But it's so, again, it's a testament to Brighton to see all these amazing youth players coming in, and young players, I should say, playing so well and getting their flowers, and it's fantastic to see.
Yeah, 100%. And he's been likened to Lionel Messi by, I think it was Carlos Tevez, who made that comparison.
Every young Argentinian player is likened to Messi, so we'll see.
but now he gets to play alongside Lionel Messi, Adam. Like as a just turned 18-year-old kid, what must that be like to play alongside the GOAT, undisputed GOAT?
It's mental, isn't it? It's mad. We said it with McAllister as well, like the opportunity that he had to play alongside Messi. And he tells the story about how he went into the Argentina camp and he was getting ribbed by the other players. And then Messi kind of stepped in and stood up for him. And that was like a really nice moment for him. And so he obviously has an impact on these young players. And we saw it with Alexis. So hopefully he can do something similar with Facundo. I don't know how long they'll kind of cross paths in the national side, but he does look like, I mean, we speak about it with so many players, but stylistically, it's actually really freaky how similar he does look to Messi. Like you watch those show reels of him, and like some of the stuff he was doing was just mental. He wasn't doing it at a bad level as well. He's like playing in front of crowds of like 40,000 out in Argentina. Like it's proper football. So I think he absolutely, he'll become a great player. I think we're definitely going to see kind of, the best of him over the next few years. But it's a massive, huge opportunity for him. Yeah, a massive learning kind of opportunity too.
Yeah, definitely. Curtis Adams spoke about McAllister's first introduction to the Argentinian squad and being nervous to meet Lionel Messi, etc., and having Messi sort of put his arm around him. How comforting will it be for Kundo to go in there and have Alexis McAllister from Brighton sort of putting his arm around him and showing him the ropes as such?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's someone he knows straight off the bat anyway. But just having someone, again, with that sort of experience, just sort of guiding you through that seemingly fairly stressful situation, as well as being very, carrying a lot of excitement behind it. I think it's going to be hugely beneficial to him. And I think it'll be very helpful for Alexis too, actually, to help guide some of these younger guys through too. So I think it's just good. It's just good all around.
Yeah, we're definitely in a strong position again with another prospect, another really good prospect as well. Like people are talking about him outside of the club, and I was on a West Ham podcast earlier today, and he was saying sort of, if you lose Caicedo, if you lose McAllister, you're just going to bring someone else through, and there'll be another name that we didn't know, and we'll be talking about them at the same vein. So it's testament to our scouting network and recruitment. So yeah, top class. So this week, I think it was this week. Was it this week? We played Stoke. I don't know. My honestly, this week has been a mess.
It was this week, I think.
It was this week. Fantastic. And we made our way into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. And we will play Grimsby Town at the Amex. When the draw was made, of course, people getting very excited. Adam, they have just beaten a Premier League side. We will still call Southampton a Premier League side, even though they don't look like one. But yeah, should we be booking our hotels to Wembley and train tickets, or do we not count our chickens just yet?
Book your tickets, I reckon. No, I don't know. I don't know. I want to say, I don't even think it's too complacent to say like it's a favourable draw, and it's one that I just back Brighton these days. I've said it so many times on various different platforms. I think they're a very professional outfit these days. I think they're a very well-oiled machine. They don't go and get battered in games in the Premier League. If they're in every game, they dominate the ball in pretty much every game they play. I can see, I can't see us really making an error, particularly after the Charlton game where we let that slip away from us, and the way De Zerbi's spoken about, that seems like that's really irritated him, like, losing out on that kind of run in the cup. He's come in, he seems like a winner. He seems like he wants to have the right mentality for every game. I think he's going to put out a really strong side. I don't think he's going to let this team be complacent. And I said it about Stoke as well. I think we'll just get over the line with Stoke, and I think we'll just get over the line with Grimsby. And I think we're going to Wembley, but I don't want to really say it too confidently.
I know. Now there was a lot of people sort of saying that the Brighton fans that were getting excited were being disrespectful towards Grimsby, because of course we do still have a football match to play, and there is no given in football, especially the FA Cup. We know the magic of that competition is very much still alive, Curtis. But is there an aspect where you're absolutely allowed to be excited without disrespecting the opposition?
Yeah, I think you can be excited and just show respect for your opponent. I mean, Grimsby are a fairly well-run team, I think. I mean, just look how well they played against Southampton. But again, I know it's Southampton, but come on. Well done to Grimsby in that game, because I think they deserved it. So yeah, we have to. I mean, it's fine to be excited. I mean, this is the FA Cup. There's an aura around it and everything. And we could make it to Wembley, but again, we have this stepping stone that we must traverse first, when we shouldn't count them out, because they are going to be more up for it than anyone else, because they've really got nothing to lose,
Yeah, exactly. It's as well a trip to Wembley on the line for them as much as it is us. People say it all the time, and it's such a cliche, but football isn't played on paper. It's played on the big green grass patch that we watch them on every week, and we know that it's 11 against 11 at the end of the day, and anything can happen. But I'm going to be excited because a prospect of going to Wembley again for the second time in 4 years is very special for Brighton & Hove Albion, because don't forget, we've got our history, we know where we've come from, and to go to Wembley again and to see Lewis Dunk lead the team out again at Wembley would be very special. So I think everyone's got the right to be excited about that prospect. So let's also confirm to anyone that doesn't know, it's going to be played on the 19th of March at the Amex, 2:15 kickoff. And tickets go on sale on Monday. So if you can get yourself a ticket, get down to the Amex and make it a fortress, because it's going to be a difficult game. And Grimsby are going to bring loads as well. Yeah. They were an amazing voice at Southampton, and props to them for that as well, because yeah, that is some doing. Like it's a long journey as well.
Any Grimsby fans watching, you'll have to pay for a ticket for your big fish, though, when you're on, just to say.
Yeah, we're going to bring our inflatable seagulls as well. So yeah, we'll take that. But just remember, Grimsby fans, the Seagulls do like eating their fish and chips. So yeah, we'll leave you with that. So let's look ahead then, guys, to West Ham. A bit of team news. Solly and Estupinian are back. Back in contention, at least, to play tomorrow. How much of a boost is that going to be, Adam, to the squad? Obviously, we saw a bit of a rotation squad on Tuesday or Wednesday whenever we played Stoke. And yeah, are you expecting to be back to full strength?
Yeah, I think Purvis will definitely come in my opinion. I think the form he's shown has been fantastic, and particularly in the context of the fact that we don't have another natural left-sided left back. We're having to put Lamptey there and Veltman there and midweek, and it's not quite as natural. So I think if Purvis is pretty much fit, I think he'll come in. One, because of that, and two, just because of how good he's been. I think Solly as well, I would expect him to come in just because of the form he's been in and the quality he's shown in the last kind of few months. Two massive players for us. We've shown that we can do it without them, but having them both back in contention is going to be massive. I would expect them both to come back into the starting 11. But I guess it ultimately depends on the fitness of both of them. But yeah, that would be what I'd expect.
Yeah, definitely. And there's been a lot of chat around Solly March this season, Curtis. Lots of people sort of... He was very much a Marmite man before he hit this reign of form, I think. But now sort of people starting to realise how much of a good player he can be and just how important he has been for us. It'd be so good to see him back in the side, Curtis, wouldn't it?
I mean, I think it's amazing to see how he's come on under De Zerbi. Seemingly has a lot more of an attacking threat now, which is really, really good. And he shows a lot of passion out there, a lot of heart, a lot of fire, a lot of determination. So I'm going to be happy to see him back for a game that's seemingly important one in our sort of road to top 6/Europe, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, these key players is going to be very beneficial to that campaign. So yeah, it'll be great to see him and Estupinian back.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a few people in the chat here. So as I said, I went on a West Ham podcast earlier, and a few of the guys from that podcast have come over and subscribed to the channel or have followed the channel, which is great. So thank you, guys. Hammers fan, give us a chance, boys. No, I'm sorry. We've got just came from the Hammers chat. I hope we get top 7, but lose tomorrow. Well, if you hope we get top 7, we need as many points as possible. So
but the thing is, again, though, like people think it's a far gone conclusion that we're going to beat West Ham. It's going to be a tough game, regardless of the fact that we have a good record against them. It's never an easy game. And now they have Danny Ings, who loves to score against Brighton. So we'll just have to see how that plays out.
He does. Long live the Bolin, said March is worthy of an England call-up. Adam, what do you make of that comment? Do you think he's very much in contention to be in the next England squad?
I think by normal standards he would be. By Gareth Southgate standards, probably not. I think stupid reasons, like the fact he's not kind of young anymore, would probably be a reason why he might get called up. He's like 28. But you can't ignore good form. And I think for March international friendlies coming up, and I think the start of like some qualifiers, I'd give him a shot. He's been in brilliant form, and I guess recently our quality of wingers have kind of improved, but I think why not? Let's give him a run up. See what he can do. He's been a form player in the Prem, and there's always been a bit of talk about him moving on. I think there was a talk about was it Villa or West Ham a few years ago? We were potentially looking at him when Brighton fans weren't really loving him that much, and now he's just been brilliant. So yeah, why not? It'd be so good to see.
Well,
if only we had.
There's been rumors in the past few days about him signing a new contract.
Oh, right.
I've heard floating around. But we'll see how true that is, because loads of people report fake stuff all the time. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, if only we had an international manager that would pick players on form. I'm sure he said that at one point, but
But the thing is, the weirdest thing is, he said he'll pick players on form and then just doesn't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. It's mind-boggling. But yeah, tomorrow, as you said, Curtis, it's going to be a really difficult game. And Danny Ings at the Amex does not give me very good vibes. He seems to love to score against us, Adam.
Yeah, he does. He's a quality player. He's a player who Brighton could have done with over the last few years. I think it's never been. It's always come up like Brighton have struggled. What about Danny Ings? What about Danny Ings? But it was never. Him moving to Brighton would never be something that would have suited too big wages, and I think his age profile is not ideal. But he's the kind of player that Brighton would have absolutely loved. Fox in the box, poacher, so good at kind of finding that opportunity, find that little half space in the box. I could imagine it's nailed on. He's going to score tomorrow. It'd just be whether we can outscore them after that, I'd say.
Pretty much. Didn't he score a hat-trick in their last Premier League game?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Great. And they just lost to Man United, so they'll be looking for a reaction, which is always good to be playing a team that are out for revenge. But yeah, it's whether the Brighton hoodoo outweighs the Danny Ings hoodoo for Brighton or West Ham. So it'll probably be 0-0, guys.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So let's talk about our chase for Europe, because we've got a few games in hand, and judging by our run in the FA Cup, we're going to have even more games in hand come late April, May. So really, it is all in our hands. But when it is in our hands, Curtis, a lot of Brighton fans worry that we're going to bottle it. How realistic is it for us still to expect Europe, with Liverpool picking up form, Newcastle still up there, Brentford, Fulham? There's some really, really good teams that are going to be fighting for that European space. And if Chelsea decide to turn up this season, then they'll fly up the table as well. So is it still realistic to look at the league and think that is probably one of our best routes to get Europe, or should we focus solely on the FA Cup?
I mean, let's be honest, it was never going to be an easy task. I mean, so many teams go in and out of form all the time. So we knew that this was going to be something that could potentially happen. It's so funny. Like at the beginning of the season, there was talks of it, and I was like, you know what? If we don't get Europe, I'm fine with it, because I worry about squad depth and things like that. But now we're getting closer to it. I'd love it, obviously. But I just think we just need to focus on the football as a whole. Whatever happens. I don't think we should put too much stress on ourselves about it. I mean, if we finish in that seventh place, just outside of the top six, I would be happy with that as a season as a whole. Because it's a project. It's not going to happen overnight. If it doesn't happen this season, it could happen next season or what have you. But we need to be patient ultimately, because some of our fans are guilty sometimes of wanting everything all the time now, so we just have to trust the process and just see what happens. But ultimately, I'm very, very excited for the future.
Yeah, definitely. And there is obviously always that possibility that the European places get extended to seventh place if Manchester United or Man City win the FA Cup, considering if they finished in the top four.
Does winning the FA Cup help with the European football?
If we win the FA Cup, no matter where we finish in the league, we will get European football. Europa Conference League, I believe.
Yeah, I
So
think you're
that
right.
that is still a possibility. As I say, if we get knocked out, and City or United finish in the top four and win the FA Cup, 7th place will get European football as well. So there's two routes for us to get European football. So it's still really exciting to watch us and hope that and dream of European nights at the Amex. I think it would be so special. How special, Adam, would it be to see Adam Lallana? You're Adam. How special would it be to see Lewis Dunk lead the team out in a European night at the Amex?
It would be mental. It would be like the climax to what I think the club have been trying to do over the last probably 10 years or so, getting the club into the Prem, consolidating them into the Prem, and then being able to do that. It would be amazing. I would take, Conference League against the most random team in the most random country on the most random day ever. If it meant we were playing in Europe, it wouldn't matter to me. I think it would just be so amazing. I think we're in a position now where, it's definitely on. We've got games in hand. And I know, of course, points in the bag, points on the table, that is preferable. But we're in a really nice... Oh, that's my whole light gone. We're in a position now where, we're well within a shout of getting there. The teams around Brighton, I don't think look particularly brilliant. I think Newcastle are definitely going to drop off. I think we look better than Fulham, despite kind of them beating us. I think we're in a really good position to kind of consolidate and get that kind of top 7 spot.
Yeah, definitely. Matthew has confirmed that the FA Cup is Europa League. So if that's true, obviously there is extra incentive for us to win the FA Cup, because then we'll be in a more prestigious European competition. Nothing against the Europa Conference League, because as you say, Adam, like any European fixture would be fantastic. And I know they're maybe not really good to go off of, but we've had some pre-season friendlies against European opposition and we've fared quite well against them. So I would fancy our chances to go deep into the European competitions. He says the AFL Cup is conference. Okay. Yeah, that would make sense. So yeah, that's fair enough. So yeah, it's really exciting times. And whether we can get there or not is another thing. But yeah, so let's have some predictions for tomorrow, guys. Let's see how we think it's going to go. Curtis, are you feeling your normal positive self?
Yes and no. Yes and no. My opinion is that two goals are going to be scored in the game. I have a feeling one or the other way. I'm kind of shaky about this one. Usually I'm very positive and what have you. But I'm going to say 2-0 Brighton. That's what I'm going to say.
Goal scorers?
There will be 2, yes. No. I'm going to go. It depends who starts, obviously, but let's say Ferguson, because it'd be cool to get another goal from him, and Pascal Gross.
Well, I'd love a Pascal Gross goal. He's still chasing that ever standing Glenn Murray record. I think did Neil Maupay equal it?
Yeah,
and then left, and then Pascal's the next in line. So Adam, is Pascal Gross going to score tomorrow? And what do you think the score's going to be?
I think, by the way, Pascal Gross is probably in with a shout as well for one of my all-time favourite players ever as well.
He's absolutely fantastic. I love him.
Whole conversation could be had about that, man. Why not? I think my instinct was going to be, I was going to say a draw, like a 1-1 draw maybe. But I actually reckon, considering the whole kind of, the record we have against West Ham, I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna say we're gonna win 2-1. I think Estupiñán's getting on the score sheet. Mark my words, and I'll back Evan Ferguson as well. I reckon they'll be the 2 goal scorers. But yeah, I think I don't want to sit here on on this podcast and sort of make out that we're gonna beat West Ham. I think they're going to be a really tough game. I think it's going to be, they've got some really quality players, and just because we've got a good record against them, it ultimately means nothing. I just think we're in a despite results, I think we're in a nice kind of period at the moment with the way we're playing, and I think we'll get over the line. I think the way we're clinical and ruthless these days, I think we might just get the job done.
Guys, I think some breaking news. Brighton and Albion just shared out a picture of Moises Caicedo saying, "How long is your new contract?"
What?
No way.
Come
I
off
need to
it.
check. Let me
No
just check the Twitter.
way.
Let me just check the Twitter.
No, you're fully right. What?
Come off.
I mean, that's
breaking news on Albion Obsessed.
Okay.
Moises Caicedo may or may
for
not
a new contract, ladies and gents.
be signing a new contract.
Oh my
Whether
God.
that new contract means there's a release clause in there, probably.
will.
I
mean, that would be the only way they'd be able to sign him down, wouldn't it? You wouldn't think his agents would turn so quickly into. I mean,
well,
agents,
at least
get that statement taken down.
at least he'll be being paid more than his £3.50
yes,
packet.
more than a Fredo a week.
So, well,
I reckon Roberta was like,
Freddos.
Roberta was like, here's a contract. Write whatever numbers you want on it. You're staying. He's at the wheel.
Yeah. That is some. I was about to say, Adam, you've inspired me to have a conversation about Pascal Gross. But
I'm sorry. I just
at the
saw it and
moment
lost
far
it.
outweighs that.
Should we see how long do you reckon it will be? What do you reckon?
Oh, maybe I don't know. Literally, it's just popped up.
Oh,
with an option for a further year.
When is it? 2027.
2027. Yeah.
With an option for a further year. Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Oh my God.
So if it's the option for a further year, then surely that means that they hope to keep hold of him. Is that right? Or
that's amazing. How have they?
What is going on?
Premier League clubs, you best get your bags of dough out because you're gonna have to be paying up now.
That's going to be serious money, like serious, big, 100 million.
I'm really glad we've done this. I'm really glad we have done this because if we get
that is mental.
because if we get to Europe, if we get to Europe, we need players like that. You know, we need players like that.
And hopefully, sorry, go on. No, go on, Adam.
I was going to say, do you both think the main proviso of that contract is a release clause, or do you think Brighton have just done they've just finessed this and just managed to sign him down to a standard contract?
I think we have to at some point up our game in terms of what we offer players.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not privy to information of contracts. I have no idea. I'm not sitting here saying I know their contracts inside and out. But I would imagine that we don't pay them anywhere near what the top six or people that are playing in European competitions pay their players. I think there comes a point where we have to say how much of a statement do we want to make and how attractive do we want to be to teams? Do we want to be that stepping stone, or do we want to be that destination club that people have been talking about? I think that's a massive statement.
That's mental.
I tell you what I think is going to happen is this: he signed his new contract. This will be Tony Bloom. Hold on.
You'd be like live scenes from the Amex right now. Tony Bloom.
Pack of cards, just like whatever you want, any numbers you want.
That's huge.
Matthew says David Weir said we wanted to be a destination club. Thank you, Matthew. I forgot who said it. David Weir said that, and so that is really good to know. Andrew says, "Wow, that is amazing." Andrew, I did see your earlier comment. Let me have a look quickly. We need to up our game tomorrow. We were a little bit slow to start. Stoke, total faith that we could score loads more goals, keep the chase for Europe alive, and with that boost in the squad as well. To know that Moises Caicedo has. Obviously, he released a statement, or his agents released a statement. There might have been some ill feelings from a few players that he wanted to leave. Obviously, I don't think they would begrudge him of the opportunity if the opportunity was to join Arsenal, to join a club that are going for the title. But that contract is such a huge statement, Adam. What does that mean for the squad as a whole?
I think it changes the landscape completely. I think it's a real kind of marker of intent, in the sense that I think we were maybe getting to a stage where players might have been thinking they'd seen Trossard being able to move on, Cucurella being able to move on, Basuma being able to move on. Actually, in this situation, Caicedo wasn't able to move on. He was prevented that move, and he's now being tied down to a proper, what I imagine is a serious contract for both parties. One thing I did want to say is I've been really impressed with the way that, and I there was never any doubt from my perspective. I don't know what you guys thought, that it was never his. I never thought he was behind that statement, but I've been really impressed with the way that he has performed, the way he's conducted himself since. I think we all said that we predicted he'd be like this, but he's been, the most professional you could ask for. put in some top performances. Stoke on Tuesday night was a prime example of that. So yeah, long may that continue. And honestly, what a result!
Yeah.
I expect to see this reported on your channel later, Adam.
Oh, of
I'm
course, yeah. As soon as we leave here, I'll be making
Honestly,
many
I
videos.
just been tweeting about it, and I know, Adam, how quick that Seagulls Central are to get news out. So if we've delayed that, I'm really sorry,
No, do not
because that is
worry.
such
Do
a
not
huge
worry.
story.
Yeah.
But what a story to break live on a live stream.
Yeah,
It's just-
amazing.
it's
The
thrown
live
me
reaction
completely
was
off.
pretty mad.
Madness, absolute madness.
Outstanding. But that's
So-
really good. That's
So
really
we've
good.
had Alexis McAllister sign a new deal before the World Cup.
Yeah.
Moises Caicedo tied down on a new deal until 2027 with an option for an extra year, by the way.
And an
So
extra Freddo and a packet of crisps in his
Yeah,
contract.
yeah,
So that's,
yeah, cannot forget that. And there's, as you said, Curtis, talks of Solly March getting a new deal. And so good to see the club put in their, saying that we want you here. We believe in this squad so much that it can go on to do special things. The question I ask is, where is that new contract for Roberto De Zerbi, Adam?
Sorry.
It's all right. He muted himself.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. The new contract for Roberto De Zerbi. Well, I mean, we did it with Potter, didn't we? Gave him a contract quite soon afterwards. So I think that's the only thing. It's like there's been so much chat about him going and the Tottenham job, the AC Milan job, all this kind of thing. I think we'll stick with him for a few more years. I think he'll do at least what Potter did and stay for kind of 2 or 3 seasons. I think he's young enough to do that. He's not in a rush to leave anywhere. And I think he'll be acutely aware from watching the kind of way things have played out that actually this environment is lends itself to kind of good performances and good results. And he's come into a team, taken over a team that was already in very good nick. So actually, he might realise he's not the finished article yet either. So I think he'll be sticking around for a while. But I think in terms of the contracts, just if you don't mind me sort of changing it a little bit, we've got a few players who are obviously out of contract this summer. Obviously, some with options for extra years. I know Veltman's got an option for an extra year, but there are a couple of players who, like obviously Lallana's out of contract. I think Veltman's out of contract. There are a few that Brighton do need to tie down to maybe longer contracts. So it'll be interesting to see where that's going. Obviously, Solly March talk of that as well. But this is so good.
I feel like they're going to want to secure Lallana because I know he's got that long-term injury, and I feel like he'll be beneficial to De Zerbi's sort of backroom coaching staff anyway, because he's like quite a natural leader out there on the pitch. So I think it'd be really good to have that voice in regards to sort of training whilst he's recovering from that injury.
Yeah, and as for Joel Veltman, like that for me, I would offer him a whatever, what Chelsea doing those long year deals. I'd offer him like an 8-year deal. I'd keep that man until he wants to leave football. I absolutely adore Joel Veltman. Such a professional, just gets his head down, plays anywhere you want him to play along that back line, and has been so good for us. Like I don't think it's stated enough how bloody good he's been for the price that we got him for. People talk about Tarek Lamptey, Pascal Gross, which all of them in their own right have been so good. But Joel Veltman, like, what a guy!
He was playing in a Champions League semi-final, 2 months before we bought him. Like, we're not talking about some average player that he's overperforming. He was a quality international footballer playing for Ajax, like just so good, and it's been so.
It's actually an absolute travesty that he hasn't got called up to the Dutch squad since he's been in the Brighton team, or at least of late anyway. Like, I think he could do such a good job for them. I don't think there's many better than him, maybe other than Van Dijk and De Ligt in that back line for the Netherlands. So,
but what I love about him as well is like he'll put on a great performance for us, and then like the next few days you'll see him out in the community doing some fantastic stuff with kids and stuff. And he seems like the nicest guy, man. And I just want to foster those sorts of attitudes at the club because it's just fantastic, just so good. What a deal he was as well. What a deal.
Exactly that. But yeah, before all of that crazy news shot off, I wanted to talk about Pascal Gross, and we'll keep this short and sweet because I love a bit of Pascal Gross loving. He's been with us now since 2017. So what is it now? 6 seasons with Pascal? Five or six? Yeah, Curtis, your favorite Pascal Gross memory? If I had to push you for one, what has that been?
Would have been our first Premier League goal, right? Wasn't it him who scored that?
Was.
Yeah, that goal. I think it was pretty mad. Also, a big one for me is: do you remember we went through that massive dry spell of not scoring anything? And then he came up and I think he got like a header or something like that, and that was fantastic for me as well because I feel like it really rejuvenated the team. But just having him out there, he's such a consummate professional. Like whatever he does, and you can when you see the pitch side videos on the YouTube, you always see him like pointing out things to people, and just such a good person to have out there. So everything he does basically is a highlight for me.
Before I come to you, Adam, I just want to state my favorite Pascal Gross moment, and it was the celebration against Chelsea for the 4th goal. That was so cold. That was just, you are finished.
That was
finished.
Yeah.
Absolutely, like spine tingling. Whenever I watch that back, I'm like, oh, Pascal Gross, I love you so much.
Yeah.
So Adam, what is your standout Pascal Gross moment, if you can pick one?
That's so hard.
Pick 10 if you want.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the goal. I'm doubting myself now that he scored it. The goal against Man United that kept us up in 2018. That was
the
header.
Yeah, it was just over the line.
Just over the line, exactly. And we were running off, and it was like, has he scored? Has he scored? And the ref bang, and then he'd scored, and that was just one beating Man United because I think that was probably one of the first big teams we beat in the Prem. One of, and then obviously the occasion and everything, the whole moment. He's been there since the start of the Premier League journey. You know, there was talk at the end of last season of him potentially going back to Germany. He was out of contract. And, you know, there's a bit of debate amongst fans, as there always is with Pascal Gross, but loads of us never wanted him to leave. The club obviously never wanted him to leave. I think he was always going to stay. And he's been so important. He was important to that Potter side, the Houghton side, but also now the De Zerbi side. Every manager who's come in has seen him as such an important player. For the way we play, technically brilliant, can play across midfield, can probably play in attacking positions, and can even play at flipping right back as well. So, you know, quality.
Yeah, absolutely. And for that Man United goal, I remember I was sat in the southwest corner, so that's probably the furthest point you can sit away from where he scored. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah,
I had not a clue. I saw people celebrating. I thought we got a penalty.
Yeah.
Honestly, about 30 seconds into the celebrations, I thought we were celebrating that hard because we got a penalty. And then the scoreline ticked 1-0, and I was like, shit, we scored. Yeah, that was such a good moment. And Pascal Gross deserves everything at Brighton and deserves all the love from every single fan because as you said, Adam, he's been so important under every coach we've had in the Premier League. Andrew says, this goes to show in regards to the Moises Caicedo news, we'll always give players the love and care and support to make our club one of the best for challenging other teams. Fantastic, spot on, and says we need to lift the Amex tomorrow. And how good is this news coming out on a Friday night before the game for the atmosphere tomorrow, Curtis? It's going to be buzzing.
It makes you wonder if they waited. And it's been sort of been done for a little bit. So, but it's going to be so good. And, you know, those of you that are there, very, very jealous because I'm not going to be. But scream as loud as you can tomorrow.
But, Curtis, you'll be at the Palace game.
Confirmed, ladies and gents, breaking news. Curtis Friend will be at the Crystal Palace game.
Absolutely love it. Now, Curtis has never seen us win.
I've never seen us score a goal at the Amex.
You're joking.
No, that's true. That is true. Wow. He has.
I've been to the Newcastle game towards the beginning of the season, and I went to the Villa game that we lost.
I'm in the nicest way. I'm glad you're not going tomorrow.
But that hoodoo will be broken against Crystal Palace because we're going to beat them 5-0. I said it in the previous podcast, and we drew 1-1, and all the lads were laughing at me. But I didn't say when we were going to beat them 5-0. Did I? Come on
Exactly.
now.
Exactly.
But hey, anyway, I think we're gonna wrap that up there, guys. And we're gonna go and lose our shit to the Pascal Gross news. I wish
You're
it was.
obsessed.
Yeah.
Moises Caicedo news. It has fully broken me. This fully broken me. But yeah.
Shit, mad.
As I say, go and follow Adam on at Seagulls Social. You can follow Seagulls Social as well, but Seagulls Central. Go and follow Adam. Really good quality
Thank you.
content, as I say. And you're always welcome on, Adam, if you want to come and chat all things Albion with us. Because as Curtis says, we are obsessed.
Yeah.
But yeah, do all the good stuff. Leave a like, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Albion Obsessed. Follow us on TikTok because that's Curtis's thing. He's over there. And Instagram, all the other good stuff. And we will see you very, very soon. So yeah, take care, guys.
See ya.